Monica Real for the local please. May I have Monica Real?
Okay, Ms. Sharper, I'm ready when you are.
It's on me, y'all, bro. All right, well, welcome. I had a group of students in my room, so I was trying to get them situated. Welcome to the Dobbs Elementary Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noted. I am pleased to call this meeting of the Dobbs Elementary Go Team to order. Our first order of business is to call the roll. The Secretary, Ms. Yarborough, will now call the roll.
When I call your name, please, let me know if you're present. We have Quaylin McIntyre in the place of Tiffany Reagan.
Here.
Brianna Spence.
Here.
Bernadine Connor.
She's here. She said she was at the hospital, so I don't know if she can like unmute and speak.
Erica Hopkins. Santana Hardy. Alexis Opodole. Jeremy Crane.
Present.
Jen James.
Present.
Cindy Adams. Ms. Spence, we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Yarborough. So our first order of business is to approve our agenda. It was provided to you. Take a moment to review the agenda and please let us know, are there any changes that need to be made to the agenda?
Motion to approve and accept the agenda is provided via email.
All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
I second.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 All opposed, say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okie dokie. So our agenda has been approved. We will review and approve the minutes from our last meeting. The minutes were also provided to you via email and on the website. Are there any corrections? May I have a motion?
Yeah, I was about to say motion to approve previous meetings minutes.
Thank you. You move to approve. Thank you.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okay, so now we're going to move to our discussion items. Little boy. No meeting, son. Please stop. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so we're gonna move to our discussion items, which is our budget development presentation by our proxy, Ms. Dr. McIntyre.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to share my screen. I want to make sure you're able to see my screen. Okay. Okay, so this is our Dobbs Elementary budget feedback meeting, which is being presented before our staffing conference. The norms, this meeting of the GO team, only members of the team may participate in the discussion, and any members of the public are that are present are here to quietly observe. We will follow the agenda as noticed to the public and stay on task. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other. We will respect all ideas and assume good intentions. So this is our process. So of course, this is the roadmap, and it is our role and direction. It and your role. It is your direction, your priorities, your vision, and for the present and the future. So step 1 is a data review. Step 2, strategic plan review. Step 3, budget parameters of the strategic priorities. And we are here now at step 4 of the budget choices. So just an overview of all of the steps in the process. We are at step 5, GO team feedback session. And so for this meeting, it's scheduled for the principal or proxy as me to provide an overview of the school's draft budget for the GO team members and the general public. This meeting provides an opportunity for GO teams to discuss how the school's budget has been allocated to support the programmatic needs and key strategic priorities, and they are held before the staffing conferences. So this is our parameters. Our priorities, I'll read the priority and then the rationale. Priority is to increase student proficiency in literacy and math, and the rationale is that the strategic plan goals to support tier 1 and small group instructions. In an effort to increase staff capacity in literacy and math instruction, we want to maintain the number of support staff supporting teachers in planning and instruction. And in an effort to increase staff capacity in data analysis and usage for instructional decision-making, there's a need for enhanced teacher support to be able to assist teachers with data analysis that will impact student learning. Additionally, utilize data to meet individual needs of students, and for that, to ensure that students are receiving maximized opportunities for achievement and remediation daily. And the last, monitor the communication to parents of students that are chronically absent. And so absent students affect the CCRPI score and thus adversely impact student achievement. So in order to address those, how we will break out the categories, the FY25 funding priorities from the school strategic plan will be ranked in the order of importance. I will note how they are aligned to the APS 5, what our specific objectives are for school improvement. So the ask is what needs to be funded in order to support that strategy, and then provide the amount for that. So we'll have 2 options to present. There's an option A and an option B. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review this prior to the meeting. So at option A, with option A, we want the priority ranked in order. Number 1, we want to increase student proficiency in literacy and math. And that APS 5 area is curriculum and instruction. So the strategies for that is to ensure effective implementation of tier 1 instruction. That's by providing small groups, also providing whole group instruction, specifically around phonics, to implement our Rollins, that's our Literacy and Justice for All strategies, and Hegarty instruction, as well as the implementation of the APS math instructional framework. The request aligned to that is to have 17 teachers. That would be 17 K-5 classroom teachers, 4.5 EIP teachers, 2 turnaround teachers, so 1 for reading, 1 for math, and 5 paras. also an hourly Spanish, and this is per the standards of service. So this is a priority that's aligned to literacy and math, but specifically around literacy in other languages. This goes along with the district and cluster mandate of having Spanish. And then to maintain a turnaround reading and math teacher. So the amount for that is $4,166,837. Number 2, increase staff capacity with literacy and math instruction. So that also is in the area of curriculum and instruction. 2, the strategy for that, to maintain consistent content-specific support, staff to support teachers with planning, data analysis, and lesson delivery. And then all certified teachers who are receiving training via Cox Campus. The ask for that, or actually is to maintain a literacy and a math coach. And the amount is $275,149. Priority number 3, increase staff capacity in data analysis and instructional decision-making. That is from curriculum and instruction as well as data. The strategy for that is to consistently engage staff and monitor weekly data meetings and analyze weekly and unit assessments. The request is to maintain literacy and a math coach, same amount, $275,149. The 4th priority is around STEM integration. That addresses signature programming. And as a STEM certified school, we must continue to monitor, integrate, and implement strategies into the core content areas. So for that, the ask is to maintain a STEM coach as well as a STEM teacher, and the amount for that is $231,250. 5th priority is around attendance. That addresses whole child and intervention, the strategies to consistently monitor the reduction of chronically absent students. And we're doing that via the care team. So the ask for that is to maintain those care team supports, which is inclusive of the MTSS, the social worker, and can't sit at the bottom, but counselor is the other thing that's down there. That's $440,506. So to break that out with what the requests were around personnel was to create an hourly Spanish. So that would be an hourly person, roughly around 7.5 hours. So that equates to about 1 day a week to address 5th grade only. And that would be meeting the expectations that are provided via the APS standards of service. And then to remove then, which is to address our budget shortfall, is remove 3 K-5 teachers, 1 science teacher as it is a singleton. Those 3, oh, by the way, those 3 teachers will be based on seniority. To remove the 0.2 itinerant band teacher, as that's being addressed through music, and then the 4 paraprofessionals, which would also be based on seniority. So if you take a look at the summary at the bottom, we're actually in a shortfall based on student enrollment. So we are $697,000 short of what we were at this point last year as far as the budget is concerned. And so these decisions are being made as a result of, or being requested as a result of this. So as much as possible, we want to continue to prioritize our current class size model of small classes and maintain as much teacher support as possible as well. So because of this, the number of classes will have to adjust though, some, but we want to try to maintain them as small as possible to accommodate the projected enrollment. So kindergarten will be the primary recipient of the paraprofessional support. And students will continue, as I said before, to receive fine art supports through the current music teacher. So they'll continue to receive that music support through that. Option A, the breakdown of the funding looks like this. I won't go through every single line, but I'll give a moment for you to be able to read it since we can see the screen. But I will note that the areas are instruction, which are all of the teacher salaries, pupil services, which are all of the instructional supports like counselor and social worker, those fall into there. Improvement of instructional services. So that is where some of those supports fall. Instructional staff training is at zero, and that is because the district is providing most of the training that's needed at this time for both reading and math. Media services, that's the media specialist, school administration, that's the leadership team, and then maintenance and operations, and then we don't have anything for transportation. This is essentially what it looks like as a breakdown. So as you can see, we still are aligning to the priorities with majority of the funds being spent towards instruction and breaking it down per pupil at a roughly about $20,000 per pupil. So that's something to note, is the $20,000 per
Can
pupil.
we have Zion Britton for the circle, please? Zion Britton, thank you.
Option B, naming the priorities. So priority number 1, increase student proficiency in literacy and math. That's addressing the area of curriculum and instruction. The strategy for that would be to ensure effective implementation of Tier 1 instruction. Again, targeted small groups, whole group, phonics, Rollins and Hegarty, and implementation of the math instructional framework. This request looks like 18 teachers, 4.5 EIP teachers, 2 turnaround teachers, so 1 in reading and 1 in math, 3 paras, an hourly Spanish per the standards of service, and then to maintain that reading and math teacher support. And the amount for that is $4,172,209. Priority number 2, increase staff capacity with literacy and math instruction. That again addresses curriculum and instruction to maintain consistent content-specific support for teachers for planning, data analysis, lesson delivery, as well as the training related to Cox Campus. That is to the request for that is to maintain literacy and math coach. Priority number 3, increase staff capacity in data analysis and instructional decision-making. Again, that addresses curriculum and instruction as well as data to consistently engage staff and monitor weekly data meetings and analyze weekly and unit assessments. That is the strategy. And then the request is to maintain the literacy and math coach, again, at $275,149. Priority number 4, STEM integration. That addresses the area of signature programming and the strategy to continue to support, monitor and integrate and implement strategies, the STEM strategies into core content areas. So the request there is to maintain the STEM coach and the STEM teacher at $231,250. Priority number 5, attendance, addresses whole child and intervention. So to consistently monitor the reduction of chronically absent students is a strategy. And the request is to maintain those current supports of the care team, which is the MTSS, SELF, social worker, and counselor. Option B, a breakout. To create the hourly Spanish teacher, again, 1 position for 1 day, roughly about 1 day a week for 5th grade only to meet standards of service. And then it would be to remove 2 K-5 teachers based on seniority, 1 science teacher as a singleton, and the 0.2 itinerant band teacher, and 6 paraprofessionals. So that's the difference, are the teachers and the paraprofessionals. Again, that summary, as much as possible, we want to continue to prioritize a small class size. So we're trying not to reduce a large number of teachers, as well as still maintain some support. And then because of the budget deficit, teams will definitely have to adjust. So this is essentially what it looks like as a breakdown for each line. And note, it says option A, it should say option B. The per pupil is $19,262. So a little different than option A. And then this is the breakdown. Again, it is still budgeted by function to have majority of the funds directed towards instruction. All right. Ms. Spence, turn it back over to you for the discussion.
Thank you, Dr. McIntyre. Ooh, get out my face, little boy. I'm sorry, my child is in my face. All right, so we'll need to discuss the draft budget to ensure that it addresses our school's strategic plan and our identified priorities. And some of those questions for us to consider for our discussion, are our school's priorities reflected in the budget? How are the district and cluster priorities reflected in the budget? Are the new positions or resources addressing our major priorities? Does anyone have any questions? Thank you so much, Dr. McIntyre. These are the questions. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to address as far as the budget goes? I have a question. Oh, go
Yes.
ahead, Doc.
Dr.
Deborah.
McIntyre, I saw on both budgets, they had a 4.5 EIP. Who's the 0.5?
Sorry, we have a split position, so half of that is gifted and half is EIP. So we have paired those 2.5s together.
I'm sorry, I don't quite understand.
So we earned a 0.5 gifted for our population. And so because it's a 0.5, we don't have any staff members that are half-time. So we had to make a pairing for that. So that pairing is EIP.
Okay, so instead of paying for complete gifted, we were given a half of a gifted and
No.
we're paying for a half of a
No,
EIP.
we have to have gifted. It doesn't matter what that looks like. So we paired it as a EIP and a part-time gifted. Does that make sense?
So she would be part-time EIP and part-time gifted?
Whoever that is, yes, would be yeah. So right now, that's the current, so we're maintaining that. That's the current role is part EIP, part gifted.
Okay, and so that person would be expected. That person would be expected to work EIP and gifted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You had another question, Ms. Yarbrough?
Yes. Now we all know that the state is providing a literacy coach for elementary schools, right? So that funding is coming from the state?
The funnel through the district. So it's not in our budget. That is not included in our budget.
Okay, so let me ask you,
That's totally a district funded position.
okay. Okay.
So this science teacher, is that a position that we have currently? A
Yes,
singleton?
Yes.
Okay. We have like a science teacher.
Yes. So it's in the departmentalized grade. So we have that is currently in 4th grade.
Okay. So we wouldn't have that. It would just be.
We wouldn't have just a science teacher. So essentially, when you have like just a science teacher, like that is what they can teach. So you may be able to have maybe one class that is not in the area. So that teacher is actually teaching social studies and science. But they wouldn't be able to teach anything else. So that's how they're a singleton. All the other teachers are generalists, so they're able to teach all the content areas.
Got it.
May I have Kendrick Roy, but it's not located Kendrick Roy. Thank you.
So the budget is getting rid of that singleton so that we can have space for the generalists.
Generalist.
Got it.
In case we don't have, in case depending on our model. So our model may or may not be departmentalized.
Okay, and it's easier for us to not have a departmentalized if we don't have that singleton.
Yes.
Brenda Conley, thank you.
Okay, and so for that STEM 231, is that just personnel or is that also including resources?
Mostly personnel.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you another question. On our number 5, which says is about attendance, all of those, the MTSS, the cell, the counselor, all those, that's where that funding for them comes from?
No. That's just
That's-
what they do. That attendance is a priority, and that's who takes care of that.
So we're allocating that money for them to be able to take care of that.
Yeah, there is, yes.
Okay,
So it's just those positions. We would have those positions anyway.
okay,
But those are the positions that serve on the care team
under that,
to support
under
that priority.
okay.
I had one more. I missed it. I'm sorry. So on there, on both of them, actually, it says that maintain the turnaround reading and math positions. Then it also says a reading and math turnaround teacher position. Does that mean
It's the
that
same
we are
one.
adding?
No. It's just
Okay, so it's
included in
just
that
on there
count.
redundant.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. I know that they're not on the budgets as, you know, changes as far as the options go. I'm questioning, just to kind of discuss, I guess, how that model is slated to work next year. Is it, because I know that we came across some scheduling conflicts this year, and so they're not actually working the way that we thought that they would last year.
Brenda Conley.
Sorry. So I'm wondering if it's going to be the same as it is now, or if there will be a better plan for them next year.
I hear the question. So you are correct. We did have some scheduling conflicts. I think part of it was because of the number of specials classes that we were offering, for example. So not being able to fit in smoothly into the specials rotation. So we won't have as many specials rotations next year. We won't have 5. Just because in order to take care of the para support, we're losing paras. So both essentially make us have to lose paras. So we have to restructure what that special schedule, for example, looks like. What we know is that we want to have a reading and a math lab. And so we will be in the process of brainstorming what exactly that looks like. So if the special schedule is not the place for that, it might have to be something else. So what we are committed to is intervention daily. and remediation daily. So what it may look like is it may fall into that realm of intervention and remediation. But we're committed to making it a daily practice. And so figuring out what that lab looks like to implement on a more frequent basis.
Okay, and will this service K-5 or would it still just be 3-5?
That will be solely dependent on the data and what the numbers tell us.
Okay,
Because we also have EIP, so it will determine what the data looks like.
okay. And is kindergarten not required to have pairs anymore?
So the para support we named in the summary as supporting kindergarten. In
Right.
option A, but there's no district requirement that kindergarten has to have a para.
There's no state requirement either?
No state requirement.
Okay. Okay, those are my questions.
Okay, for me, just to piggyback off of what Spence said, for those turnaround teachers, so for next year, like she said, we're gonna do something different. So for next year, they're going to serve children.
Yes, they're actually serving children this year, but we want them to serve more children.
More
next year.
more frequently.
Yes, more
Thank you.
children, more
Yes.
frequently
Okay.
next year.
All
Yes.
right. Okay, thank you.
Are there any more questions or discussions? Okie dokie. Well, that means that we can now, thank you, Dr. McIntyre. We can move on to our information items, which is the principal's report, also from Dr.
Okay, so I do not have a presentation for that, but I do have information. So I don't have any data to share because we are now 7 days away from MAP. So we will have, oh, hold on. I may have a presentation. Okay. Hold on just a moment. I do have some data to share with you via presentation.
We have Alistair Blanton, but it's Mr. Please, Alistair Blanton.
Okay, so I'm going to share our writing data. This is what we have currently. So if you'll take a look, we have taken Right Score. So our 3rd through 5th graders have take Right Score electronically. And here is the data from that. So in October, I think Ms. Reagan has possibly already shared this information for October. And then I now have the January data. So if you'll notice that 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade have all increased. So we've had more of a focus on writing since that October Right Score. So this is what it looks like in January. We are actually currently, today is day 1 implementation of our writing tutorial as well. And so we have roughly about 30 to 35 kids that are participating in the writing tutorial. We're looking to increase that number. We still have some that are scheduled to start next week. 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders in that writing tutorial so that we can try to push more students that were in the developing category over into proficiency. So this is writing data. I'm gonna stop sharing now. I also want to share with you, I'll be able to share that, some other information. So we are in the process of responding to our state House bill that is now requiring for all K-3 teachers to have science of reading training and to implement science of reading. The district has taken this on as an initiative and calling it Readers as Leaders. But our commitment is not just for K-3 teachers, but will be for K-5 teachers. So kindergarten through 5th grade, including the superintendent and her staff as well, district staff, will be participating in science of reading training. And we're doing that through the Rollins Center in partnership with the Rollins Center and Cox Campus. So our teachers across the district are participating in Cox Campus modules that are tied to the science of reading, and then implementing the learning from those modules, which is the reason why you heard Ms. Yarbrough asking about that literacy coach that's being provided by the state. So the state is supporting school districts with being able to ensure that there are specialists or coaches to ensure that the science of reading is not just something that we are talking about, but that actually gets implemented in the classrooms. So we're part of that. We're still part of those 8 schools that are literacy and justice for all. So our focus started before the rest of the district. So as this is a district priority, we have already begun that work and are well into it. So this is now year 2 for us. Additionally, I have some announcements. The Black History Program, it will be actually tomorrow at noon. We will not be able to stream it. However, we are recording it and we will make it available on our Dobbs YouTube channel. And I believe those are all of the, we have an upcoming town hall as well that we have moved from this from this Friday to next Friday, just because people like Ms. Reagan are out and we want her to be able to engage and participate. There was, lastly, there was also a survey, Georgia Health Survey, that we had parents to participate in, as well as staff and students. So our students in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, for student participation, we had 100% in those areas. We had 81.9% to personnel to participate, and 100%, we met the goal for 100% parent participation. So there was a threshold for parents to meet, and we met that threshold, which is why it's 100%. There was also a threshold for personnel, and we met that. So we were supposed to make at least 75%, and we were able to meet those thresholds. So kudos to all of the parents and personnel for making sure that that got completed. And those are all of my announcements in the principal report.
Dr. McIntyre, as far as those surveys are concerned, are they going to disseminate the data from those surveys, or is it just for them?
So it actually impacts our CCRPI rating, or what the new CCR, whatever it will be called moving forward, as the school climate rating.
Okay, but they're not going to like send out the aggregated data as far as the questions and the percentages go.
Do not know what that response will look like. No. So I don't want to say no, I don't know.
Okay. Okie dokie. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions, comments? Any other announcements? The Go Team office has an announcement. Declarations for the Go Team elections are open until today. So we need parents or guardians and non-supervisory instructional staff candidates to go ahead and try to apply to be on our Go team. So if you are interested or know anyone else that would be interested, who would be a good fit for our team, please direct them to apsstrongschools.com to declare their candidacy. If you have questions, you can contact the Go Team office. The Go Team is here on our meeting today. Thank you. Any other additional announcements? Go ahead, Ms. Yarbrough.
Yes, before we can vote on our next meeting, we need for everyone to take the budget training. You have to take the training before you can vote. So, I will send out a reminder, and I will try to get the link for you to go ahead and take that class, because you have to take the class before we can vote at our next meeting.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yarbrough. Do we have anyone that signed up for a public comment? No? Okay, so we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
A second. May I have a second?
Can I second my own motion?
No,
I
sir.
second.
All in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed, please raise your hand or say nay. Any abstentions? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much. Oh, Ms. Yarbrough, when is the next one?
All right, our next meeting, which we will vote for either A or B. Our next meeting is, find it. Our next meeting is March 13th.